What's up, everybody? Jumping on in here. How's everybody doing? 21, 22 people already hopping on in. Welcome to the jungle. We do have the fun and games. We've got my brother that you guys all know, and no, he's not insane. He is Adam Fullerton. I don't know, that's terrible, but he's Adam Fullerton. He is the co-founder to Branded Bull. Let me know in the chats if you guys can. Um, let's just cue this up, man. I was gonna say let's hang out here tonight, talk about website best practices. I'm just going to turn it over to Adam here pretty quickly so he can go through as many brand logos, websites, anything that you guys have. Adam's volunteering his time tonight. If you guys don't have a website, I guess I'll do a quick pitch. Go to brandedbull.com and buy a website. If you don't, absolutely no big deal. Let's get that out of the way. And then let's just get down to hanging out, all right? Because we don't want anything to be a pitch here tonight. I will say this. I'm really proud of what Adam and Lauren have put together the last 4 years. It's been about 4 years now, right, Adam? Is that right?
I think, gosh, I don't know, time flies. Yeah, I want to say probably 3 or 4 years now.
I cannot even believe it. I signed up about 3 years ago because Brandon Bull was about a year old or something like that, and you had already had a couple clients under your belt. So anyway, if you guys don't know Adam and Lauren, they have a lot of great things going on, designing websites, branding, SEO, marketing, and so much more. They're actually did my first website, and they're doing my second website as we speak. And Adam's got a great background doing branding and marketing for a lot of big name companies. He'll probably give a little bit of an intro, but we're just grateful that he's here today. What I will just say, and then I'm going to just turn it over to you, Adam. If you guys have a website and you guys want us to take a peek at it, that's all we're doing for the next 45 minutes. Adam will just answer Q&As. Any questions you guys have, we'll put it in the chat. I'll try to maybe interrupt Adam as he probably gets into a flow here. But put your websites, if you want Adam to take a look at it, in the chat. Lauren and Adam are both here, so just throw them in the chat. That way we can take a look at them. If you guys have a website that you're excited about and you want Adam to maybe get some pointers on, we're all in a safe space, if you will. I always joke, so he'll be as tactful as possible. But I really like this kind of stuff. When people did this back in the day or gave people tips back in the day, I was always one to be like, hey, like take a look at my website. I actually did that with some YouTube folks, like people that teach you how to make YouTube channels, and I would throw my stuff in there, and then they would just shred your YouTube channel alive, and you'd be like, well, I got some work to do. So I always appreciated the honesty and the objectiveness. So, all right, a lot of words just to say. Welcome, Adam. Hope everybody's well. Looks like the chat is coming up like crazy. Adam should know mine already. Yeah, Adam, you should rip somebody's apart. That's like your art or your design, and then hey, like, who designed this thing? And they say, Adam Fullerton, So that'd be funny.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on. As always, Lauren is over in the chat as well. And yeah, we're Brandon Bull. And I mean, we recognize a lot of the names in here, a few names that I've never seen before. So hello to everybody that I've never met. And some of you have met in person as well through the LMN sessions or LAL. And so it's always good to see familiar faces without a doubt. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Brian, between Lauren and myself, we've got 35, 40 years of history and experience with professional branding and marketing and advertising. And we set out a few years ago to start helping small businesses to, with our knowledge and our experience with the services we offer. And then what I'll say too is this is kind of spilling the beans early because we haven't gone public with this is that we've worked with gosh, a couple hundred of your followers and peers in the green industry, and as a result, we're going to double down in the green industry. And Brandable, we are shifting to 100% focus on the green industry. So we've had a lot of clients outside of the green industry, but we are working with so many of you guys, like I said, and we're learning so much. And we're like, hey, you guys need a lot of help in a good way. And so, like I said, we're going to double down and we're really going to take over the green industry and help you guys with what we do really well. So I encourage anybody, if you go to our website right now, it doesn't say, hey, green industry only, but we're working on that. We're going through a rebrand ourselves. So in the coming months, you'll see some shifts in what we're putting out and the types of conversations we're having. But all that to say, if guys, you need help, you have questions, we're always open to helping as much as humanly possible. So, yeah, I see some guys throwing some websites in the chat as well. We'll definitely go through these one by one. And like I said, this is just open, forum. Happy to provide any feedback, whatever questions you guys have. Please let me know. I'm open ears and willing to help. So, Brian, anything you want to add to that? Please feel free.
Uh, Not specifically. There's no pitch here tonight. A lot of folks know your name, so you've been doing quite a bit in the industry. It's awesome. You guys have been busy, busy, busy. Thank you. I'll just say, I do have a small stake in Brandon Bull. I'll just say thank you guys for the work. Thank you guys for the business. Adam and Lauren run a small business, and they've got kids, they've got mouths to feed, and they're you guys, man. They're one of you guys. They're not only helping you guys with your marketing and branding, but we're navigating building a company too. We've got five, almost six people going now with Brandon Bull, or maybe it's six or seven actually, and they're making new hires, and you guys are empowering them to hire other great folks to continue to build their team. So Adam's in tandem with you guys building his small business. I'm doing my best to coach him, and we're getting a lot of insights from a lot of other great people too in the industry. And again, yeah, we've all been on tour learning everything we all can about business, right? Especially through those Mark Bradley masterminds last what 8-10 weeks, I guess, about a month or two ago. All right. That being said, brandonbull.com if you don't know. All right, let's get into it, Adam. This thing is blowing up. The chat is like crazy here, so I will let you do your best to navigate it. I don't know if we'll just take it from the top. You guys are both incredible. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Adam, do you want to do a share screen or do you want
Yeah.
to? I think that would probably be. Can you do
Yeah.
it or
I'm
do
gonna
I
pull
have
it up right
to?
now. I got you.
Oh, look at that. All right, cool. Take it away, brother.
Of course. Again, I can't see the chat just with everything, sharing my screen and all that. So if you guys see anything, just, I don't know, Brian, call it out, Lauren, call it out, wave your hands, just get my attention and I'll shut up for sure. But yeah, again, if anybody wants us to go through the website here, drop in the chat or in the future or future conversations, let us know. One of the things that we specialize in as well is professional branding. And, the website is obviously extremely important, but also the face of your company is arguably just as important as well because when people want to interact with a professional business, assuming that's what they're after, then they're looking for someone who has that nice suit and tie and looks the part, right? So the website is typically the first place people are going to go, but the first interaction they typically have with your company is probably your logo or, your truck driving by or something along those lines, a yard sign. And so you really want those things to be really clean, really professional, and really grab the attention of the potential customer. From there, right, we've already kind of crossed or gotten past the first barrier to someone considering your company based on just visuals, your logo, your signage, or whatever it might be. And from there, then they're going to say, okay, how do I learn more? And again, the first thing they're going to go to is probably Google and then your website. Social media is, of course, really big, and we'll get into the audits in just a second. But just remember, people want to find information about your company. And as a result, where do they go? They go to the internet. So we always tell people, hey, grab a Google business profile. It's free, it's a no brainer. When you set it up and you get that verified, you're now listed on Google and Google Maps under the local search results. And that's really important because even without a website, you can start generating leads and getting the phone to ring. And like I said, be found in the local search results on Google. So if you guys ever go to Google and you type in, lawn care near me or whatever it is, the website results are very important, of course, but they actually come after the local search results. And so when you go to Google and you type these keywords or searches in, you're going to see Google business profiles pop up first for local companies, that people are trying to find local companies for the services that they offer. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to hire someone that cuts lawns or whatever, snow plowing. That's 2 or 3 states away. That doesn't make any sense. It's not relevant to your search. Obviously, you want someone that's 5 minutes down the road, not 5 states away. So we always tell people, hey, before you get a website, no matter what, get a Google business profile. It's free, it's a no-brainer, and that'll get you on Google without a website. From there, Facebook page, it's obvious. It's still something that's indexed by Google. People can still find it. Facebook is a massive search platform as well, and people tag other companies that they've done business with because in community groups, especially if you guys have never been in them, all the time people are asking, "Hey, does anybody know that can cut my lawn or do some landscaping or snow plowing or whatever it might be?" And people can tag your business. You can even join these community groups and say, hey, check us out. Here's my website. Here's my Facebook page, whatever it might be. So before we get into the audits, I just wanted to mention that stuff, right? professional imagery and branding for consistency. To us, it's a no-brainer. Um, Google business profiles, getting ranked on Google even without a website, no duh, as well as the Facebook page. These are just all opportunities to have an online presence before you invest into a website. So any questions on that, again, drop them in the chat. Hopefully all of you have those things. And if not, hopefully that's just some free tips, free advice. Go do those things because it will help the business grow. So we can go through some of these, and there might be some others in the chat. And again, I can't see the chat, so someone flag me for anything that pops up, any questions that pop up. But basically, what we're looking for is there's kind of three different things you want to consider when you're looking at a website. So when you hit the website, you need to understand within a fraction of a second, who are you, what do you do, and who do you service? And that's the thing that we're going to figure out on all of these websites very quickly. So I'm going to invite anybody here to go to any of these websites, of course, and just understand yourself within a fraction of a second. Do you understand who this company is and what they do and where do they service? Because that's what we're trying to figure out within, like I said, moments. Because if you don't answer those questions, I'm bored, kids are calling me, whatever's going on, I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to go backspace, click the next one, boom. Now they're with your competition because they're looking at other companies in your market. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about and go through on some of these. From there, clean layouts, making sure things are organized. You want to make sure it's easy to navigate, and you want to make sure, obviously, people can just get answers to questions. So those are some of the key things we're going to look for through this process and through these audits. The other thing that's not talked about a lot is SEO. And if you're not familiar, SEO is search engine optimization, and that's your ability to be found online. And so, in regards to the website, it's making sure your website is SEO optimized. So it's taking advantage of specific keywords. It's making sure that you have page titles and meta descriptions and the correct hierarchy of headers and titles, um, alt tags, image compression, mobile optimized, and so forth and so forth. And all of these things are kind of like a giant checklist, we like to say, in terms of what Google looks for when ranking a website. There are other factors like how many words are on a page, how long has your website been around, a lot of other things that Google will consider. And so the list is quite long. And we, at Brand Bull, whenever we work with somebody, we go through this whole checklist and we check all those boxes so that we give you the best chance and a fighting chance to be found on Google. Because if you're not doing these things, having a website, that's great. But if nobody can find it, how valuable is it? Probably not much. So we'll go through the visuals. We're not going to dive into the SEO side of things because there's a lot that goes into that, of course. But ultimately, just know visuals and aesthetics and the ability to convey information and wow people, provide answers, that's half the equation. The other half is, can people even find your website? So, like I said, we'll go through the visual audits. If we see anything, very obvious that might be able to help with the SEO, we'll call it out. But usually, SEO is keywords. It's a lot of back end stuff, so to speak, not the visual layout itself. So again, any questions, please drop them in the chat or check out rateable.com, reach out to us, Instagram, Facebook, the website, all those good things. So Daryl, you're first. You've been lucky enough for me to click on your website first. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the chat just because if Daryl, you want to yell at me or anything like that, at least I can see what you're saying to me. So hopefully this all goes smoothly and yeah, don't yell at me, guys. So first thing here is when you go to Daryl's website, knoxvillelandscapes.com. Let me say this too. If you guys aren't familiar with domains are simply this top section. It's the URL you type into a browser to get to someone's website. These are very inexpensive and something that you can go purchase yourself through a platform like GoDaddy. It's typically $12 to $15 per year to own a domain, and every single person has to own a domain to have a website published to it. So we encourage you guys, whether you work with us, you work with anybody else, you do a website in a week, a year, it doesn't matter when, just go buy a domain that you're going to use for your future website. And maybe right now you say, hey, I just can't afford one. Totally fine. Like I said, just go buy the domain because you guys have a lot of competition in your industry. A lot of names are very similar most times. And if someone gets the domain that you want, unfortunately, you can't do anything about it unless you want to buy it from that person. And that can get very expensive. Trust me, brandable.com was taken. We had to pay a pretty penny to get it. And you don't want to go through that process. So always go and secure the domain that you want to use for the future website. And then last thing before the audits, I'll say is if you guys did not know, professional email can really help you stand out and help you look like a more legitimate professional operation. And it's what all the big companies use. So when you buy a domain through GoDaddy or whichever platform, it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to set up professional email? And if we always say, hey, do it. It's super inexpensive. It's usually $7 per month to set up professional email. And that's where you could have, adam.fullerton@brandable.com, or you can have Daryl at knoxvillelandscapes.com, or sales at, or contact at, or info at, or whatever, right? You can have all these different accounts set up and you can have professional looking email, which in the world of trying to stand out from the competition, every bit counts. So professional Facebook, professional Google profile, professional website, professional email, professional logo. You start stacking these up, and soon enough, you don't even look like your competition. And that's how you stand out. And that's exactly what the big companies do so that they don't look like everybody else. So those are, again, free tips, free advice. Go buy a domain, set up professional email. You don't need a website in order to buy a domain or set up email. Just some things that we always suggest to people whenever we talk to them on the phone. Okay, so assuming there's nobody yelling at me and the world's not on fire right now from what I can see in the chat.
Hey
Okay,
Adam,
Daryl, you have a professional email. Yeah, go
I'll
for it.
just hop in. I'll just hop in really quick. Two things. I made a bag of tortilla chips here, so I turned my microphone and video off. Real life, bro. I'm hungry, but I'm working the phone like a stockbroker too. We're getting like 6 to 8 inches back at home, and I'm in Florida, so you know how that goes. Two things I'll say is if you guys want to unmute your mic and talk or ask a question, like dude, open forum here. Especially if you guys are new to Link, I just want to say hey, hi, and welcome, if you will. Dude, it's like nothing like super decorum here. Just chime in, weigh in. We like to be family here. Number two, I was just going to say with that GoDaddy note, Adam, if you guys are going to GoDaddy, um, everybody's got $12.99 hopefully in their pocket, $13. If you're going to Verdode or Verdrode, for Carter here, and you're going to verdrodelandscaping.com, you punch it in, it's available, purchase it. The only reason I say that is because GoDaddy and a lot of these, I don't know, just bot, type websites track traffic. And if you go back there a week later, because you punched into GoDaddy, and I don't know if there's inside baseball here, like if Nancy Pelosi runs this, but there's some insider trading that if you go back there, Verdode, landscaping.com, all of a sudden gets purchased a week later, and now it's for sale in the marketplace for $1,499. And that stuff happens all the time. And I don't know who, how, what, when, where, why, but it absolutely happens. So if you guys type in, platinumlandscapes.com, and then you come back a week later to buy it, whatever you do the first time you go to GoDaddy for our business or your business, this business or any other business, just please buy it the first time you go there. It's $12. I have 100 websites registered. I mean, at least a couple dozen, I'll tell you that. And I just renew them. It's a couple $100 a year, but it's worth the investment. Like I'm just cyber squatting on them, they call it. So just a quick little inside baseball tip. If you guys are ever starting a business, power washing or some retail business, or consulting business, just buy it, sit on it. The almonds have dozens of saved websites, um, just a little inside baseball on that. All right, let's keep going. So I'm gonna go back to my
Hey,
tortilla chip.
I got something real quick. Hey,
Hey,
so
what's up?
so a lot of big companies, they do this. They'll buy websites that are very, very closely named to their competitors, and then they'll take that website and they'll put a link on that website. So when you go to that website, and I'm already doing this for my competition in the area, and I've already gotten phone calls in the past 3 months because you just pay
Yeah.
attention. If you got your main competitors, I mean, this is what the big guys are doing. So act like a big guy if you want to be a big guy. My three biggest competitors, I own all their .coms, their exact business name and their .com, and we're going to link them right to the one. We've already linked two of them, and I've already got a letter in the mail from an attorney about this. So I can't say any more than what I'm telling you right now. So find your
Yeah.
biggest competitors in your area and make sure that they own that .com, because if they don't, buy it, because then you have a upper hand on them. Because, and especially if it's a business that's been around for a while, my number one competitor, I do not know how they don't own their name plus .com,
Yep.
and they are
Yep.
livid right now. And no,
Leave
I
it to
will not
Shane
sell
to
it to
tell you
you.
the tactics to play the best defense.
Yeah, yeah. Leave it to Shane to shut the offense and the defense down. That's so funny. But it's true. It's true. Like buy like the .com, the .org, the .net, and then also like if you type in like Reebok.com, but instead of REEBOK, you type in REBOK. If you do have a name that might be a little goofy or something, like it's worth $13. Like Lawnscape or Landscape, like this is kind of 202 stuff, but honestly, it's like it's worth the investment for 10, $20 to buy up or down a couple words or a couple letters. It happens all the time, like Shane said. So it's a good way to just cast your net, make sure you don't leave anybody out of the funnel. But that is really funny. I've made some money cyber squatting, another video for another time, Shane, but I actually have. I know exactly what you're talking about. And if you guys want a fun case study later, we're way down the rabbit hole, but if you want a funny case study later, go check out the Sierra Mist girl. Or Starry, sorry. Go down why Pepsi's called Starry now. Shane, you know that story? Yeah. That's a good one. That girl's worth about 10 to 50 million. She's cyber squatting on, was it Sierra Mist's old domain, because they didn't renew it. Pepsi didn't renew it. So anyway, that's why it's called Starry now. I don't know if you knew that story, Adam, but that's funny.
No, I know Pepsi also owes a kid a jet, an F-16 or something like that. If you saw that Netflix
Oh yeah, with the
special,
Pepsi points,
check it
the
out.
Pepsi points.
Yeah, Pepsi points. He
Yeah,
wanted his jet and he sued for it. So I think he got something, but
I think he
we
won. I think he
digress.
won. All right, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, we digress for sure. So
Squirrel, the squirrel. Latin. Link is Latin for squirrel. So here we go. All right, go ahead.
that's right. Okay. Last thing I'll say before the audits, right, is just like, what is the point of the website at the end of the day? Where does the value come from? And if you guys aren't familiar, I mentioned this briefly a little bit ago, right? Put yourself in your customer's shoes. They're trying to find information about your business, and you might have something on your truck or a lawn sign, and that's totally fine. The more marketing, typically, all things equal, the better. However, they're going to go somewhere to find information, and your website acts as the hub for all that information that you want to share with your potential customers. So, services, pictures, testimonials, a contact form. These are all different things that people are looking for. Where do you service? How do I know anything about you and your team? Or you're going to be in my front yard, backyard, close to my home, my family. I want to know something about you before I do business with you, because as they say, you do business with people you know, like, and trust. And this is just your ability to control all of that information on the internet. Now, your Instagram, your Facebook, you can do that. That's great. You should have pictures and you should utilize those, but they're kind of snapshots. You don't get to put every single thing on those platforms for people to go and read about and kind of sift through on their own. And I mentioned this a lot in different calls and different things. We live in a world where you can research before you buy, and that's what everybody's expectation is, that they can get information about who you are, what you do, pricing if they want it, things like that at a tap of a finger or a click of a mouse. So the more you put this information out there, just the easier it is for your customers to figure out who the hell you are and how to work with you. And do you even offer what they're after? You want that information out there. You want to enable and empower people to do their own research. And if they're interested, cool. They're going to call you, fill out a contact form, whatever it is, to get a hold of you. So there's the value. Just remember, you might be out in the lawnmower, you might be in the office, you might be sleeping, but customers are not. Google is not. It is a 24/7, 365 world we live in. And the more you put out there, the more online presence you have, the more likelihood of people just discovering your company, which is going to in turn generate more leads, which will in turn generate more customers. So people are out there searching for businesses all the time, especially on Google and Facebook. And this is why you want a website. And this is why you want to be across social media and just have your stuff as in as many places as possible. So that said, we'll jump into the audits 27 minutes into this conversation. So um, again, I can't see anything. If anybody has questions or whatever, Brian, interrupt me, or whoever interrupt me, unmute your mic and let me know. So first thing I'll say here is, Daryl, when we look at your website, there's a couple different things. Again, I'm going to be a little bit nitpicky on purpose because this is what we do. We're professionals and we want things to look extremely clean and extremely intentional. So the first thing I go on here and I see is top left logo. This is pretty much standard for websites in this day and age, unless you're kind of a design agency or trying something kind of crazy, which we don't recommend. Stick to best practices because that allows customers to have an expectation in terms of what your site will provide to them, like a logo in the top left, a menu across the top, a call to action in the top right corner, a hero with information about who you are, your services, a call to action button. These are just basic things that you guys should do. If you're doing your own website, you're working with us, working with somebody else, it doesn't matter. Don't get overly complex, or don't make it overly complex. Don't get overly crazy with it. Keep it simple. You're not design agencies. You guys cut lawns, you do landscaping, snow plowing, things like that. Just make it really simple, really clean, and really easy to navigate. So that said, Daryl, the first thing I see here is I'm like, hey, why is this logo off? This doesn't make any sense to me. It should be up here, just in line with everything else. We move on. We're at the home page. That's great. Contact us. Why is us not capitalized? Okay, what's under here? Request a quote. That's fine. We'll see your services. Okay, great. I know someone called this out earlier. Turf care is misspelled. Hey, go in, fix it. And these are just little things that you guys should do on any of your websites. Just audit them yourself. Read through everything. And this is something I learned in my experience working for big companies, especially when you're doing $1 million print jobs and campaigns. Read everything you type or put on your website or any of your material. Read it slowly and make sure you look at every single letter, because you guys have probably all seen these things where you can read a full sentence and all the words are misspelled or jumbled up, but you can still make it through because how your brain processes it. Don't let that happen. Don't go on autopilot. Read everything slowly and intentionally. And that's how you can make sure turf care is spelled properly. From there, call to action over here, you can see that he's saying call or text the hotline now. And this is something we always recommend, is hyperlink any phone numbers on your website. So if I click this, it should open up my FaceTime. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to close my FaceTime, but basically it allows someone to call straight from the device that they're on. And that's especially important when it comes to mobile. That said, one thing that I notice here immediately, Daryl, is have two things. One, scroll a little bit more to see your entire hero section. We always recommend making the hero section just what we would call 100% height of the viewport on a phone or a desktop computer, which means everything would be in this viewport. It's called above the fold, below the fold. Above the fold is before I scroll down or I have to swipe, that's above the fold. That's everything people are probably going to read and consume way more, right, than everything below the fold because it's technically hidden in the browser. I can't see the entire website until I scroll. So what Daryl has here, I think you're doing a good job in terms of what is above the fold. You have your name, and I have to move this bar, sorry. My Zoom bar's in the way. I'll move that here. But Knoxville Landscaping LLC, where every yard tells a story. So immediately I can start to figure out who you are, and you have a little bit of an emotional tie there with the language you're using. That said, you also tell me that you probably serve these different areas. That's phenomenal. So now I've gone to your website, and above the fold, I've answered a few different questions. If I'm the customer, who are you? What do you offer? And where do you offer these services? Because again, put yourself in your customer's shoes. That's what they want to know from you guys. Who the hell are you? What do you offer? And are you even in my market? Do you serve Novi, Michigan for you, Brian, for example? I'm in Novi, Michigan. Do you serve Novi, Michigan? I just need to know that answer really quick. Am I on the right website for someone that can do that? Yes or no? Like, I need to know quick. Hey, kids are calling me. I gotta go. Oh shit, it's not for them. Okay, I'm going to the next website, or I'll come back later. Missed opportunity all the time because of that information. So, Daryl, I say you're doing a pretty good job in that regard. There's a couple just small things that we would button up aesthetically. Like I said, fix the logo so it's more in the navigation bar. Fix turf care, maybe turn this into a button rather than text, just to give it some more prominence in the top right corner, which is pretty standard, like I've talked about. And then, like I said, you have your name, you have your servicing areas, but something you could add here, Daryl, is what do you offer? What we say is it's called friction. Every single time someone needs to do something to get more information, it's friction. We don't want friction. We want to make sure things are frictionless or reduce as much of the friction as possible. Because the more clicks, the more scrolling, the more anything. Again, kids are calling, gotta go on to the next person or whatever it is. Hey, I can't figure out this information. I'm going to the next website and so forth and so forth. Make it super obvious. So my point here, Daryl, for you is you could add a sentence that says probably serving Corrigan, Halls, Powell, and surrounding areas. But in that, you could say something like proudly offering, well, let's go to your services, right? This is friction. Probably servicing residential mowing, landscape, and turf care services in blank, blank, blank areas, right? So now I have the answer without having to scroll, without having to click. Who are you? Knoxville Landscaping. What do you offer in terms of services? It doesn't mean list every single service, right in your hero, but the general categories. We offer mowing or commercial maintenance, landscaping, and snow removal services. Okay, cool. I have an idea of who you are, what you offer at a high level, and then where do you offer it? Three big things. Now, what I'll say too, this goes into the SEO part of things, depending on what your H1 or the highest level title of your website is. That also is what is picked up on Google. And so, if you guys aren't familiar with SEO, your H1 is just your top level headline for the website on the page. And that's what Google is going to look at, or one of the primary things Google looks at to understand who you are and what you're about, so Google can offer that website up to the right people based on their searches. So, Daryl, I won't go into what is called the inspector mode and dig into the code, but if this is an H1, then it's lacking some information, such as, yeah, we have your name, but again, what else? Who do you service? Where do you service? We want that information in your H1 most times. And if it's not in your H1, don't recommend it, but at least underneath it, like I said, put that information in there. Make it so obvious that I don't need to click to learn more, to make sure I know who you are, what you offer, and where you offer it. So that would be the one recommendation with kind of the information you're providing here, Daryl. So high level, really quick again, and I'll go quicker on more of these. I hope I don't want to repeat myself. Just call out some obvious things, but fix your logo, the placement of it, some typing, say what you offer at a high level. You have a call to action. That's great. And really, the last thing here that I would say before we scroll down is just imagery. Imagery is just one of those things that's going to elevate the presence of your website. My analogy, if you guys have been on the phone with us whatsoever, is like, hey, super cool sports car, right? With the ugliest wheels possible. Yeah, that's going to ruin the entire perception and image of the car. Don't let your website be the sports car in this analogy with really bad photos. I would say, hey, Daryl, what you have here is actually pretty clean in that regard. It has your truck with the logo. That's super cool. But iPhone photos are great. Professional photos scream professional operation. So depending on who you're after and who you're trying to target, just remember we always want to make it known that we are the professional provider in the markets that you're serving. And imagery goes a long way. I invite you to check out any, printable.com, go to our portfolio page, just look at the different websites we have there. The Almonds is a great example of just high quality imagery. Brian'sLM.com for his, just what you can do with even a basic website with powerful imagery. People think, oh, I need to have 25 pages on a website and I have to have all this content and everything. And there's time and place for it. There's benefits to dedicated pages and things like that we can talk about if people want to learn more about that. But even on Brian's website, super simple single page design, but high quality imagery and video screams professional operation. And that's just one more thing to add to your belt. Professional email, professional logo, professional imagery, my marketing material, professional Google, optimized Google business profile, right? We start stacking these things up, like I said. Next thing you know, your tower of Legos is significantly taller than the competition that doesn't have these things in place. They still use an at Yahoo. They have no website. Like these are how you differentiate yourself. And of course, you do this over the course of a long time. The gap gets wider and wider. So those are kind of the initial thoughts on your homepage, or this is the hero section, Daryl. After that, yes, services is typically the next thing people are looking for on your website. So when they scroll down, just like you'll see on Brian's page or any website we typically design, it's there's hierarchy there, there's nuance in terms of which one makes the most sense to come under the hero, but typically it's who are you and what do you offer. So you'll see on a lot of the designs that we make, we talk about who you are first, followed by the services. But in your case, Daryl, there's nothing wrong with saying services is immediately next because I need to know what do you actually offer. Now, if I told you that we offer commercial, residential lawn mowing, landscaping, and landscape lighting up here, maybe then I already had that information. And therefore, next thing I want to know is, okay, who the hell are you before I dig into more about those services? You don't have that listed, so services next is perfectly fine. Again, these are just there's a lot of nuance here, but ultimately, who are you? Where do you service? And what do you service in terms of services themselves? So, Daryl, here you have a nice setup with the services. I can click into these. It looks like, and I can probably learn more. That's great. It's clean. What I would say is here you start to get into some funky, kind of looking photos with some text overlays. Yeah, they're just pictures on the images. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a matter of how professional do you want your website to look? And do these look the most professional? I would say no, but hey, this is all an evolution as well. It doesn't need to be perfect when you launch a website. From there, he has a fun little ticker. So yeah, feel free if you want something like that on your website, and just reminds people, hey, spring's coming up, so call us probably. Maybe you could have a call to action here that says, spring is almost here. Call us now or book now, just so that it's a reminder. And call to actions are what websites are all about. Like, what do you want people to do when they go to your website? To call you, to fill out a form, to click a button to book now, whatever it is, then use more of those call to actions. Like tell people, remind them to come do something with your business. From there, reviews, no brainer. Every single person on this call should have reviews on their website one way or another because we all interact with reviews. We read the reviews and we want to make sure that other people trust you and like you. And it gives us that peace of mind that we're reaching out to a company that people respect and have done business with. So the more reviews, the better. On your website, you don't need to have a million reviews. Have some reviews. It's just social proofing 101. We all want to make sure people know, like, and trust your business so that we can do the same thing or feel the same way. So reviews make sense. Connect with us, social media, totally fine. Contact us information. You have a map here for people to look at. All this makes sense. Again, if you have imagery sprinkled throughout, that's great. You have reviews, services, you're checking the boxes in that regard. I would say, Daryl, it more focus comes down to just overall layout and some different things to make it a little bit cleaner and more professional looking. But you're checking most of the boxes in terms of content. Content is king. However, poorly displayed content can really hinder somebody's ability to just kind of go through it easily and understand what's what so they can read through it, digest it, and again, reduce that friction. So just a professional layout always helps, with different sections and different, types of content relevant to that section. So I'm going to pause there and just double check the chat and make sure nobody's yelling at me or calling me names or anything like that. So, any questions on any of that so far? Anybody?
No, I think we're doing good. We can rip through if you want to do a bunch more. This is good to have like the macro on the first one or two and a lot of context. But one thing too, I like what you said about like knowing your service area, like putting like the Marysville, North Carolina. Many times, like I don't know if you guys ever can relate. I've been on websites ready to buy from a business or like call a business, and it's like some website did a good job at ranking better, but it's like 4 states away. It's not even for like the carpet cleaner that I'm looking for. It's like instead of just putting like Milford, now serving the greater Milford area, put like Milford, Michigan, or like Camden. You're like, oh, Camden. Well, is it Camden, New Jersey? Is it like Camden, Texas? Like, there, dude. Like every city is done 5,000 times. Like nobody's got Whippaconeta, Connecticut. Okay, but there's a Whippaconeta, California. You're like, what are the freaking odds? That the word doesn't even exist. But like, sure it does. There's a lot of cities. So I would always, my personal suggestion, Adam, I don't know, take it or leave it, but it's like, say now serving the greater like McDermott, Milford, and Wikipanetta, Michigan market or something like that. Like dial it in so they know it's like state specific or county specific. So just the cities only. My only 2 cents. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Great input. All right, well, I'll breeze through a few more of these, hopefully much quicker. Just maybe spend a minute or two on each of these, get through all of them, ask questions for sure. So, Bevan's Lawn Care, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. You had the website, a lot of bright colors, exceptional lawn care service. You can trust. Get free quote. Okay, that's awesome. That makes sense. I would say here there's a lot of color. The background image, it's really it contrasts. It doesn't contrast enough, I should say, from the text, so it can be a little bit difficult to read. I see you have a logo here and a logo here. Why have two logos? Just have one logo up in the left-hand corner. That's perfectly fine. From here, this is all real estate. Like, let's talk about who you are and what you offer and the service or the areas you service more than just repeating your logo. So that would be the strong recommendation in this spot. Again, let's see from Stump bars in my way. Thank you, Zoom. Services. So this looks like a single page design. It clicks down. You have an about section. It's great. Contact us, get free quote. Awesome. So really quick, I'll start from the top. I would just rework the home hero so that we don't have the same thing twice with the logo. Just answer more questions without making people scroll all the way down to start learning more about your services and where you service. That said, commercial maintenance, residential maintenance, that's great. A little bit of description. I can always click to learn more. Perfectly fine. From here, you have some different information. Totally fine. I'm not going to read through every single thing. I don't want to bore everybody on here. Again, colors, this doesn't contrast too well. It really kind of doesn't stand out from the background. So maybe a darker overlay. You can see here there's some text shadows or something going on. It just, removing that stuff, making it having more contrast just kind of cleans it up, makes it easier to read at the end of the day. So we always recommend, hey, dark overlays, for example, don't use text shadows, keep it clean, keep it simple so people can read it without having to squint or like mess with the words in their mind whatsoever. How to work with us, get a free quote, testimonials, that's great. The different services that you have, that's awesome. Arguably, services is the first thing that people are going to want to know more about. So push that up, right? If I'm going to your website, who are you? What are your services? Where do you service? I'm going to beat that into your guys' brain. Hopefully, by the end of this call, move it up in the hierarchy of information on the website. After that, you have an about section. That's phenomenal. Great picture here of you and the family pulling those heartstrings. People want to know from small businesses, who are you? And if you have a picture of you, the crew, the family, that's awesome. Like we can now connect with other human beings and not corporations. I've talked about this before, and then I promise we'll breeze through the audits. I don't care who's at the helm of Apple. I just want the nicest iPhone. Small businesses, I want to know who's behind the mower or who's running the business or who's going to be in my front yard, backyard. So we really encourage imagery of you, your team, your family, whatever it is that can create that connection with you and the customer because it's much more one to one in that regard. Odds are you're the person behind the phone that they're going to call or email and just putting a face to a name, letting people know who you are. That's great. Apple, Nike, Microsoft, I don't really care. Don't care who's at the helm. We all know who is at the helm because they're so big, but like, I really don't care about Tim Cook. No connection. He's not in my front yard, so who cares? So that's it. Yeah, contact form. Pretty basic questions. What we always typically recommend is, what do you want to know from the customers? Add that here. What are they looking for? And then reCAPTCHA, which prevents spam. I won't get into that, but yeah, that just helps prevent spam from making its way through your contact form. So overall, I would say this is a pretty good website. A lot of in-your-face colors, which is what the logo does. But I think there's some opportunity to speed it up and rework the hierarchy in terms of what's most important, and then also take advantage of this hero section and answer some of those questions instead of repeating the logo right here, center stage. So I'm gonna move on unless someone interrupts me. Cool. Shane, we're gonna skip Shane. Shane's is terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Adam,
What's
hold
going
on,
on?
hold on. Let me just chime in literally for 30 seconds. I've
Yeah.
said this at every mastermind that we've done through the country. And at LAL, I have suggested if you guys are struggling with any of this with like professional imagery or videography, for a couple $100, maybe $1,000, you can hire a local person in your market and tell them that you want a highlight reel, a sizzle reel of some videography. Tell them you want a 60-second short vertical and a 60-second short long or a long format even, but a 60-second horizontal video. And like this video that's playing in the background, folks, this cost me like well, I did a lot with my guy. It was like $5,000, but I did this video, the short vertical one on Instagram, a whole bunch of extra YouTube videos with my guy. But you can get a video done like that for $1,000, maybe even less if you have a young hustle kid, a 20-year-old guy with some great video cameras. I got some photos that I'm going to throw on Instagram tomorrow. Our videographer girl, Brittany, she shoots a bunch of family photos for us. She's like my photographer girl. $300 for like a mini session. She'll come out with me for 2-3 hours, and she shot a bunch of snow photos for us that we're now populating for our website. So just to say, like, this isn't like you need $10,000 budget to look big. It's actually far less than you guys think. So the next time you do a banger job, or just tell a photographer or videographer, hey, please just come film me for 3 hours or 6 hours or for the day or whatever you guys need, on your best jobs, your best lawns. April, May, June, when the grass is as green as possible, they're not all getting burned out, from July and August. Just throw down a $300, $500, $1,000. It's money, money, money well spent. I'm telling you, and it just goes such to the next level. Even some of those great photos that we just had on those last two websites, they look good, but when you use professional photography to capture that same job, it will just aesthetically look 10 times better, and that will allow you to command higher prices. I mean, right off the rip, I promise you that. So I don't want any of this to seem like unattainable if you go through some of these higher end video and photo type assets. It's really like, if you don't know, like, how do people get these good photos and videos? I didn't for a long time. Just hire a videographer, tell them you want badass photos and a sizzle reel, and they should know what that looks like. And if they don't, send them mine or other people you admires and say, can you do this? And if they say no, then if they say, oh yeah, dude, I got you, then awesome. Check out their portfolio, make sure like they can, they have a portfolio that can back it up. Show me an example of one you've built like this for me. And if they send you one that looks pretty halfway decent, then that's your guy. And then build that relationship, and then continue to have that guy come back year after year after year. And after 5 years, you'll have enough content to continue to procure for your websites, your social media, and all this other stuff. So my folks, I'm moving all to retainer. Like literally, it's every month we're going to put $500 to $1,000 into this as a budget. And I know the biggest guys, the East Coast facility guys, Adam at Boston, they spend literally
Yeah.
millions. They spend millions. They have 12 guys on full-time staff procuring video right now. It's freaking insane. That's absolutely insane. He said they spend 200 grand, was it a month or a year, Adam, on videos for boosted ads on Facebook for employment, not for customers.
A
LinkedIn, I
month.
think.
A
LinkedIn.
month.
It was a month,
Yeah.
200 grand a month. So they make badass videos for LinkedIn and Facebook to get employees. Like, so don't just think customers, think employees too. Like, you got kids that are like looking for a landscape job in town, and they see some badass equipment and some awesome looking dudes, like I want to work for that guy. So anyway, that's all I got. I mean, this is like a little bit of an intentionality, and 500 to $1,000 you can literally take Bevan's Lawn Care, like that website, look beautiful. A little bit of high end photography would go a long way, and I mean, you're $500 invested to look three times as good, in my opinion. So that's it. That's it. I just wanted to pour that out there.
Yeah, so thank you, Brian. So I wanted to pull up, everybody here has probably seen your website, briansLM.com, but here's another example of Charged Up Yardworks, another client of ours, just, one of our customers. We have hundreds of you guys, which is phenomenal. And we don't overcomplicate it because again, you guys don't need overly complicated websites. So we offer some good packages that are really affordable and can really help generate those leads. And this is just another example of what a small business can do with a little bit of money behind professional imagery or professional video. I mean, it elevates the presence of the website. And hopefully what you guys can see here on this example, and I'll go back to some others that other tabs I have open, just the cleanliness of it. There's not stuff all over the place. It's not an eyesore. It's not like, where do my eyes go when I first open the website? It's straightforward. It is clean. It is organized. There's some really powerful imagery, or in this case, or your case, Brian, video that can really, uh, you know, catch the attention of the person visiting your website, right? Video is always powerful because it's moving, it's motion. Our brains respond to that more than static images, and it can really help your business stand out again from everybody else, especially when they're doing iPhone photos all over their website and marketing materials. So I just wanted to, share this as another example. Chargedupyardworks.com. Check it out. You guys can just see another, example. Plenty of them to share with you guys if you want to see more. But what you can really do with a very simple, very clean website, and how it can really elevate the overall presence of everything to do with your business. So I invite you to check theirs out as well. But I'll go back over here, and again, I'm going to move pretty quickly through these. So Shane, for you, I would say, straightforward in terms of who you are, right? You have a bunch of navigation links up here, dedicated service pages. That's really good for SEO purposes. More on that later, hopefully. But yeah, about gallery, careers, contact us, blogs. This is definitely what you would get if you're a little bit larger of a company. We always like to say, hey, if you're about 0 to 250, something like Brian's website is going to be perfectly fine for probably 2, 3, 4 years. And then the next package we offer actually is more like, hey, if you're 250 to 5 or so, then elevate to a multi-page website with dedicated service pages, dedicated service area pages, dedicated about page, things like that, where there's a little bit more SEO boost and you start to spread out some content across different pages to just give you some more room to breathe, to talk, and to have a little bit, like I said, better SEO performance with more keywords across multiple pages. So for you, Shane, I know we talked about this at I think Boston LMN, and looked at your website, but clean presentation thus far. When you first land on their website, we know who you are. You're a five-star lawn care and landscaping company in Maryland. Cool. You just answered, who are you, what do you offer, and where do you service? From there, I can read more. I can see some social proofing going on right here, which just reinforces people like you, people trust you. I feel comfortable now saying, this looks like a company that could probably serve my needs, or at least let me learn more. That's the question, right? Or the feeling we're trying to convey, or get over, whatever you want to call it, when we have someone hit our website. And we have, again, only a fraction of a second to do that. So, Shane, I won't go into every single page of yours, but clean right off the bat. You have some different branding, cool branding stuff going on with the shark fin and the different background. Um, from here, you have a contact form or free estimate form right on your hero. Nothing wrong with that. You have reviews. That's great. You have some information about who you are. What I would say here is, again, the background. It makes sense from a branding standpoint. However, this is very difficult to read. The white, not so bad, but an overlay can probably fix this very quickly, because I will tell you, I can't read what that is unless I highlight it. And it's not the end of the world. But again, just make it really easy, make it really legible so that people don't have to say, what's that say? And do that squinty eye type thing. Also, this is a lot of information in one big paragraph. Odds are nobody's reading all of that, to be completely honest. Couple sentences, or break it up into two paragraphs so that there's
Hey,
just
Adam,
a break in information. Yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt. Hey, Shane, you look good, bro, but you look better than that. Like, get a headshot, bro. Like, clean that up. You look like you're about to go Wolverine on somebody, bro. So, like, I get something with you in a polo. And that's
My
your
my
little selfie.
my whole website, like nothing is gonna be the same in like a week from now. That whole website's being
Oh,
revamped right now.
Why are we?
oh,
Okay. I was gonna say, why are we wasting our
Rebranding,
time on
looks
this
pretty
thing?
residential
good.
is completely out of everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I spent a lot of money with SEO in the background on that in the past year, and it just like blows my mind, guys. You guys got to get with Brandon Bull on SEO stuff because like the amount of I mean, I'm getting 3 calls a week in December for lawn care, and I've never had that until like I started like putting money into SEO, the backlinks, blogs, having those blogs linked to other people. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. That's all like Chinese to me, but Adam, I'm sure knows about all that. But like, having blogs and have them backlink to other websites to where that they share your stuff, and then just the lead generation that gives you. So when people Google stuff in your area, even not in your area, that you're organically linked to, and then like breadcrumb trails where you do work at and all that. I spent a lot of time with my guy. Spent a lot of time messing with all that stuff, and he doesn't. A couple people have asked me. He doesn't do SEO work for anything. Like I think I'm the only person who does SEO work for him because now he's working with like billion-dollar companies. But yeah, SEO is real important. But look at my website in like a week. Come back and look at it in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now though, Shane, even though it's getting redone, it's probably still a good example because there's probably some obvious things that will call out really quick that you said, yep, this is right. This is why I'm getting it redone for that exact purpose. So that's good to hear and know. And one of the questions that was asked in the chat by Xavier is it better to have a video when you open a site or a nice image and a video that starts automatically or has to start manually further down the website? I would tell you that video is always going to outproduce or perform better than static imagery, simply because of two reasons. One, it catches your attention more and longer, which that's engagement. We want people to engage longer with our website, and that also affects your SEO score. Is how long do people spend on your website? What is the bounce rate? And the bounce rate is when you go to a website, basically how quick do they leave the website and do they do anything else on your website? And if they don't do those things, you have a very high bounce rate, which is bad. And again, when we talk about SEO and all these different factors that come into play, bounce rate is a bounce rate and length of engagement are factors in terms of where you will rank as well. So a video just keeps your attention, and also an image tells one short story of maybe you on a lawnmower. A 20-30 second video like Charged Up or Brian's, I can tell you, hey, I can show you, 5 different clips or whatever it is. I can tell you a whole story in 20-30 seconds that you'll probably sit there and watch, and just helps convey more information about who you are, um, and the size of the business, and whatever it might be. So I always say definitely go with video for sure. If you don't have video, an image is still the next best thing, right? Hopefully that
Hey
helps.
Shane. Hey Shane. If you want to go 5 steps forward and stand out from the competition, you could like get like a really terrible like corduroy suit from the '80s and be like, "It's Shark Week," and then like take a bite out of the competition and like wear a big gold chain, or something, and be like, "It's Shark Week," and you know, just totally like that Chinese dude on Instagram that does the neon signs right now. If you guys ever see him, Tony, uh, set yourself
That's
apart,
funny.
bro. But anyway,
There's
One of the
a
questions.
there's a price on my head for my 3 number 1 competitors because I own their .coms, like all 3 of them.
we
Like
have good
all their
business, bro.
.coms, I own all 3 of my major competitors.com, and they're all bigger than me, significantly larger than my company. And they've
Don't sell
all
them.
have personally reached out to me. Basically, one basically I've like considered talking to my attorney because it's basically a death threat. You go to his.com and it links to my website now.
Making friends. Yeah, it was like that at like Trump or something. Like they did like it's like HillaryClinton.com forgot to get registered or re-registered, and they like forwarded it to like MAGA.com or something. And it was like that happened in the election cycle. But I digress. That's awesome. All right, back to you, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just going through the chat really quick. What if you're under 250? That's from Alex. Alex, I would say, it's up to you who you work with at the end of the day. We at Brandable have packages built specifically for different tiers based on revenue, company size, really how much you need given the current size and what's going to set you up for success. And so our intro package is just like Brian's website. So we just say if you're 0 to 250, just go with something like Brian's website. It's pretty darn inexpensive, and the goal is to produce leads and ultimately customers to pay for itself many times over. So small plug for us, but yeah, I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day who you're working with, like I said. But you don't need anything crazy robust. You shouldn't be spending probably, don't spend 5, 10 grand on a website, in my opinion. If you're closer to that 350 to 4 to 5, then sure, start spending some more money to just help your website perform better and do more. But if you're not at that point, you know, keep it simple and just make it really professional looking, right? Don't have more pages, just have more pages, button it up, elevate the presence rather than just putting more content on there for the hell of for the sake of it, I guess. So hopefully that answers that question. So I'm
Hey,
gonna go
Adam,
through these.
we're,
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna, we're at time if anybody has to bounce, but if you got like 15 or
All right,
20 more
guys.
minutes, well, no, I'm saying if you got 15 or 20 more minutes,
Yeah,
like, or whatever you want to give, if the kids wake up and start screaming, I know you got to bounce, but, well,
we're good.
we can go as long as you want. If you got another 15 or something, I know we got started
Yeah,
a little late, so take it away. If you guys have to bounce though, I just want to say thanks for joining, Link, and, love you guys. Appreciate you guys, but I'm going to hang on for another 15, 20, Adam, if you're good. So, but if anybody does
yep.
have to bounce, we want to be respectful of people's time. So, well, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know I talk a lot, and I think it's the foundation, right? You need to understand why this is all important and what we're getting at, so that when we look at these visually, you understand and hopefully can start doing these yourselves when you look at your own website or the competitions and say, "Hey, they're missing this," or "Here's an opportunity for me to improve my own website." And in everything off of the website, like we talked about little by little. So anyway, past work, that's great for Shane in the website. We want to see pictures typically of your work to make sure, one, you're legitimate, but number two is like, hey, do you actually have proof that you've done a good job? What does the work look like? What can I expect? Answer those questions typically on your homepage or somewhere on another page. Bunch of different services here. That's great. I can read through all of that and understand exactly which services you offer, in addition to the services drop down at the very top. Why choose us? Some different reasons here. That's great. I can click on these and read more. Can't ever hurt. We always have that in our designs as well. Why should they pick you? What are the highlights? Keep it short, keep it simple and to the point. Saying you have a video here. I'm not going to play it. I'm sure this is a highlight reel of some sort, and we'll check that out another day. But video again is great. If process, that's a good thing. If you're doing landscaping, a lot of times people will ask you kind of what is the process for your landscaping work, and yeah, it's good to have that information and to just provide that insight so they can know the steps and what to expect. And again, that's typically for landscaping more than just lawn care, and just one of those things that people say, okay, what is the process? And if you can answer that question on your website, great. You just enabled them to get that information on their own, and you don't have to spend all the time on the phone answering that question. You can always tell them, hey, go check out our process on our website along with photos and reviews and different things that we offer. Happy to talk from that point. And then blogs, I won't get into blogs too much this very second. Blogs are good for SEO purposes. It's good for educational content for people going to your websites. Those are typically for larger companies, though arguably anybody could do a blog. It's more like, is the juice worth the squeeze? If you have the bandwidth and you're really trying to perform at the top level, the more keywords, the more content, blog articles, right? The better. But Alex, like your question earlier, what if you're under 250? I wouldn't worry about a blog. It's just not going to produce crazy results. That's more like when you've gotten to the top in terms of what you have on the website and what else can you do. Right, throw on a blog, for example, and that'll bump you up with SEO a little bit. And at that point, you're looking for every advantage you can. So I'll skip that. Service areas, contact form, footer, you guys get the idea. So pretty clean overall. I know Shane, you are getting it redone, so I won't dig into that one too much more. And again, what I'm going to do now, I promise, I'm going to spend about a minute or two on each of these and just zip through, call out anything. obvious. So, Carter, good to see you on here, of course. And what I would say for you, you obviously have a Wix site. So I don't know where you are in this whole process. If this is, I mean, technically it's live, but any professional company, we don't want this Wix stuff on here. We want to say, hey, this is our home. We own it. We don't want a giant banner for somebody else on here. Not the end of the world, but this is what happens when don't have a plan with one of these companies to remove their branding, their banners, and different information on them. We want it about us. So, CV Landscaping, throw your logo up there if you can, Carter. Shout out to Brandon Bull for doing your logo. So, throw it up there for sure. And then call to action, top right corner. Again, make this clickable so that I can call it, especially on mobile. If it's not there right now, do so. And something I'll tell you guys, if you're ever on a computer, you can just resize the screen and typically see what it's going to look like on mobile. Carter, I don't know why yours is not resizing. That might be what it looks like on mobile. If that's the case, definitely want to work on that because most people are going to go to your website on their phone first and then from a computer. So if your website is not mobile optimized, stop what you're doing, whoever you're working with, get it optimized because you're going to be losing out extremely quickly. Nobody in this day and age wants to go to a website that's built for computers and then have to scroll in and pinch to zoom and different things. It has to be optimized for mobile. And again, remember, Google prioritizes mobile optimized websites over non optimized websites, all other things equal. So in the world of SEO, we want to rank higher, then make sure your website's optimized because Google wants to give people websites that look good on their phones for obvious reasons. So, really quick, your premier lawn and landscaping company, that's phenomenal. CV Landscaping, I know who you are, and I know that you offer lawn care and landscaping. Cool, but where? So, Carter, answer that question right in your hero without a doubt. Book now, that's phenomenal. Strong call to action followed by some services. I would just say, hey, add some padding so that things are just a little bit, they're not, on top of each other as much. Spread it out a little bit, give it some breathing room. It looks like there's a random arrow here. Not sure what that's about, but you have some services. That's great, or at least some information about your business. It looks like book now, imagery we've talked about, hugely important. Testimonials, that's great. Photos, that's great. I'm gonna kind of rush through these things, and then you have some kind of why us things, and that's great as well. So, contact form, awesome. That all makes sense. Footer's pretty basic. That's perfectly fine. So just some tidying up, so to speak. And again, that just comes down to the layout and how clean and organized is it, and how easy is it to digest. But the big thing again, get rid of Wix banner if you can. Throw your logo in here just to look a little bit more professional. And then in this hero section, like I said, where do you service? A sentence or two about the business. That's going to do a lot of in terms of answering the questions about who are you, what do you offer, and where do you offer. So I'm going to move on until someone interrupts me. Matt, you said, hey, check my website out, critique it. I'm going to critique this thing amazingly because, well, we did it. So, um, your H1 right here, you have a basically, just an emotional, pull in terms of what we're talking about, preserving your property, elevating your image. That's kind of the what's in it for me from a customer perspective. And in here, residential and commercial lawn care provider in Erie County. It's great. We can check out your services or contact us. This is just two call to actions, perfectly fine for a hero section. And I already know that since we did this, we have some stock imagery here, which Matt, we've talked about professional imagery that can go a long way, but stock imagery that's really professional looking can definitely help as well. So through here, this is actually one of the older designs we had, but lawn care, landscaping, snow removal, I can learn more. Now I'm starting to answer those questions, right? And I don't want to beat a dead horse with these things, but you guys can see a little bit about the company, the different services. There's bulleted list of different actual services. I should say, there's categories like lawn care, and then there's actual services within that category. So you can go through here, of course, and just see the different individual services within the landscaping maintenance category, for example. So I'm going to skip through all of this. We have some different photos down here. Contact us again, some different reviews about us and the contact form footer. Super simple, super clean. Like I said before, this is a little bit outdated in terms of the design we have right now, but Matt, I'm sure this hopefully, right, the website's serving you and everything is going great. I know when we talked at Detroit LMN, we talked about a couple enhancements to the website, but overall, solid website, I would argue, knowing that we did it. So I'm going to go on. Sowers, assuming that's how you pronounce it, Sowers Lawn Maintenance. Really clean logo. That's great. What I would say is the navigation is very large. Shrink these links down so that the navigation can be smaller, and that's cool. I see your logo here. Great. I see your logo here. Don't have it in two spots. Move this one up here, and then give me some sort of image or video about your company. I don't need to see your logo twice. Odds are I already know I'm here based on the fact that I went to your website. So, what else do I need to know about your business? Well, professional imagery, like we talked about, or a video, and then uh, what do you offer in terms of services and where do you service? Throw it in the hero. I don't want to go down. I'm busy. The kids are knocking on the door. I've got work to do. Just give me the highlights so I can make sure I know I'm at the right company. And then from there, I can figure out, do you actually offer the right services, or I can click the call or whatever it is. So answer that question. But otherwise, animations are super cool as well. That always helps just give it a little bit more of an elevated professional feel. Not totally necessary, but every bit counts. Meet our owner. Let's see, Josh here. Josh, we've met before, I'm pretty sure. So um, this title, move the title over here. You could probably shrink some of the text. This navigation is just so large, it takes up a lot of the viewport. So shrinking that will definitely help. Just open it up so I don't feel like I'm cramming through like this really short window and trying to read everything. So yeah, Josh, again, this over here, um, compliment. This is big. Complementing one of your biggest investments totally makes sense. Maybe that should go in your hero section versus down here. This is just huge in your face. As you can see, I had to pause and like take a step back and see what does this actually say. So kind of an eyesore in my opinion, but not terrible at the end of the day. You have reviews, that's great. You have professional employees, professional equipment, professional results. Totally fine. Again, just in your face. I have to back up to read it all. You have your services. So a lot of the right content. And then you have a massive footer, it looks like. So fix no, I'll tell you that right now. What is down here? On okay, I'm guessing this is all SEO. Don't do this. And I'm going to make sure people are in the chat so I'm not talking to myself. This is called keyword stuffing. You can do this. It's for SEO purposes, but it looks really weird. And if I discover this, I'm like, what the hell is all this language at the bottom? It's really odd. Yeah, like it might help for SEO, but presentation wise, it just looks really cheap. You wouldn't see a big company do this. And if you're trying to like cheat the system, yeah, go for it, but just not a strong recommendation to keyword stuff like that. Overall, I would say button up the presentation, clean up the organization, clean up the hierarchy, professional imagery, and that's going to do a lot for you versus just throwing a bunch of keywords at the bottom of the website. It's good to rank high, but if the visual presentation isn't strong, well, you can have a million people visit your website and have a bad conversion. You want the balance between the both aesthetics and um, discoverability and aesthetics so that it leads to more conversion. All right, I'm gonna keep going super quick. Areoli, this looks like a very clean website. So I think someone said it is French.
Yeah,
I
French.
don't speak French. We're gonna translate to English.
Yeah, that's a great one to look at because we have to go by all visual. We can't read what it says.
Yeah,
So
visual.
do his because you're doing it all by
Exactly.
visual because you can't read it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a valid point. So I tried to convert it, a little bit of conversion, but what I would say here very quickly at a high level is I'm saying, wow, this looks extremely professional. There's some different images of the company. It has, let's just assume I can read this, something to do with landscaping, um, I don't know, commercial management experts of some sort, and that's great. So it can immediately say to myself, "Hey, this looks really clean, really professional." And if I'm commercial, it's probably what I'm expecting. If I have a commercial building, or I'm a apartment complex or an HOA or something like that, I want a more professional company that looks the part. Then this instills that into the mind of the person visiting the website. I would say, if anything, the hero is
Hey,
kind of tall.
hey, Adam,
Yeah. Yes,
I
sir.
want to point out too, because I can't read any of it, that it catches my eye that it's got the breast cancer thing there. So it shows that like they're caring,
Hmm.
something to do with breast cancer, some type of caring, I don't know.
100%. Yeah. I know on Matt Cole's, on your website, we had the Better Business Bureau badge as well. So any of those things that you guys do from a community standpoint, whether it's breast, cancer awareness or BBB or whatever, yeah, we will always encourage to have those different things on your website just to prove, one, your quality of work and, community involvement to whatever degree. So this just screams commercial to me. It screams professional. If I could read it, I'm sure it screams, hey, we're commercial, you know, uh, management experts of landscaping company of whatever degree. So from here, you have your, very basic navigation up top, totally fine. The only thing I would say is, where do you actually service? I don't know if that's like Quebec area. I'm an ignorant American. All I know is that it is now the Gulf of America, so that's phenomenal. But up in France, or not France, Quebec, I don't know where this is. So if it's obvious to the person that has this website, great. To me, it's not obvious, but I also can't read French, so can't read English too well either. But you get the idea. From here, let's see, yeah, a little bit of information. You can definitely do, call them, email them. See, this is an example of very clean presentation, and I like this. It's very straightforward in terms of, where did it go? Keeps going down on me. Couple images. You have a headline with some text. It's just a clean, easy to read section on the website versus some of the others we've looked at that are just like stacked on top of each other. Background is not, it's contrasting, doesn't contrast enough. Images, sometime as a background, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but this is just a very clean, easy to read section about the company. So great layout in that regard. Same thing here, really simple, really easy to see the different service cards, as we call them, and I can always click to learn more. So again, aesthetics is big because we want it to be easy to digest. From there, this is kind of a why us section with some different highlights. That's great. Nice photo as well, contact form, and yeah, reviews, FAQ, and footer. Yeah. So overall, I don't know if this is a single page design. Nope. Takes you some different pages. So that's great. So yeah, I mean, overall, very clean presentation. And I think hopefully you guys can see the difference between this one and some of the others that we've looked at, where this one screams professional. It screams, hey, we're a little bit larger of an operation, just easier to read, digest. I don't have to like go back to read all the words. And there's just not things all over in terms of layout and content. So yeah, really clean website as far as I'm concerned. Turf
Thank you, Adam.
Geeks, yes, pause there. Questions?
No, I was just saying thank you.
Yeah, of course, 100%. I apologize for not being able to read French.
No, you're good. You're
So
good. Any of my customers
great.
speak English. That's why it's French.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, well then a couple more of these. I'll rapid fire these. Turf Geeks, I know we've talked before. Your navigation is massive, and this is again what we call the viewport. Viewport being the entire screen. Make your navigations small so I can see more of your content. This looks like a cool video, but the video is hidden behind this navigation, and the navigation goes away, which is nice, but after I get past the video, so it defeats the purpose. So yeah, I would say shrink this navigation so I can see the whole video, so that doesn't give me the opportunity once I actually can't see the whole video. So let's geek out about your Kansas City lawn. That's phenomenal. But again, what do you actually do in terms of services? Rapid quote. That's awesome. Call to action. Again, padding, professional imagery. You got to be careful with some of these colors. Just overall presentation is DIY website versus professional website. And us being in this business, we see this all the time. It's not wrong. It just looks like a DIY website, given the pictures, just the kind of the aesthetics, the layout. But yeah, how it works, some different call to actions, service areas, social media, about us, resource center, maybe that's blogs, it looks like, reviews. So again, Content is there. I would just say it's the presentation in terms of aesthetics. And that's probably what a lot of you guys suffer with is you have the content. It's just putting it together in a clean presentation that's easy to read and digest. So yeah, content's there, a lot of opportunity with the layout, and of course the hero section, which just to see the video instead of having it disappear when I start to scroll. So that's that one in a nutshell. This one, I'm gonna refresh. Probably the same thing here. Hero sections. Welcome to JLM Turf, serving Fuquay. Surrounding areas. Let's get your lawn looking beautiful. That's awesome. What do you actually do in terms of services? Let's answer that question. Uh, Presentation layout. I mean, relatively clean for the most part. Some cool animations. And that's actually it. So I would say, hey, there's some opportunity on the homepage to add reviews, maybe some pictures. I can click on these and it takes me right to the homepage again. So why have this linked unless it's intended to take you to a services page? And if that's the case, maybe that's what the intent is. But again, I can go to the services page and I get the same exact information. So kind of why have the services page if it's just redundant information. Maybe that's for SEO purposes. But for example, this box isn't tall enough. The words start to kind of bleed off a little bit. So um, you can definitely button this up. Content is probably not the issue again, just more so aesthetics and the layout and having more information on the hero and throughout the homepage. Because what I'll say too is that most people go to your homepage and they view your homepage. They'll read through your homepage. If they want to learn more, they'll click through other pages. That's fine, but you have to act as if they never see another page on your website. Act as if the homepage is the only thing that they see. So you really need to start with the highlights of who you are, the different services, reviews, pictures, those things that they're looking for. Most times, 9 times out of 10 answer those questions on the homepage, give that information on the homepage, and then the other pages are there to support what's on the homepage. Brian, I'll
What,
pause
what,
there. I know it's already 10:40 or 10:24. I'm sorry.
yeah, well, maybe just button up at 10:30 here, like 2 more minutes,
Yeah.
you know. But one thing I like is this Element customer portal. Like again, presentation on some of this, the email, the phone number, the quote, like all look good. You can probably clean them up as buttons, more on like the hero bar there. So maybe like that whole top bar could go away. But you could also on the right side of contact add like an element customer portal, and that is something that we're going to be adding to our new website. Like if you ever go to Darden or Coupa or like a vendor portal or really any website, it says like franchisee login or portal login or vendor login. This could be what you could do for Element or Jobber. That it just goes right to their portal to pay their bill. So like an online bill pay. So that's something that we're going to be adding, knowing that the office manager is probably going to get this bill schlepped on their desk and say, oh, I don't even know how to do this. Just go to the website. And then it says like vendor portal or customer portal. So that is a really cool feature. I don't think anybody's really put that on their website that we've done an audit on tonight, Adam. But that is something that we are adding to my future website that we're rebranding and redoing is having like a customer portal. What is just going to be hyperlinked to the Element portal, obviously. So just something to think about, giving your customers like more ways to pay, if you will. So, but anyway, that's
Yeah.
all I got on
Really
that one.
quick, I'll just say that, yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, people can email you asking how to pay a bill, or you can have it right on your website. So the more features like that, typically the better. Um, Really quick, I know the next 3 or 4 actually are. So Rory, we're gonna get your logo updated after the recent rebrand, but here you can see, expert lawn care and holiday lighting in Veneta and surrounding areas. A little bit of extra information in terms of service areas and call to actions. And again, I encourage people to go through this and just see the layouts and just see the cleanliness of the information on the different designs that we have and how much easier it is to digest and navigate, for lack of better terms. So Rory, that's yours. We have CJ, right? We have
No,
yours
Rob.
here. Or Rob, yeah, so Rob, sorry. We have DJ's another customer of ours, but Rob, thank you very much. We have Brian's, we have Charged Up. And those are all customers of ours and encourage you guys to check those out. So I know we have a couple more, running
Go
out
back
on
to
time.
Roberts.
So
I want to see. I want to see Condon's. Go back to Roberts. I want to see his. Let's see what he's doing. That looks good. That looks clean. It's a
Yeah,
sweet
well,
trailer.
I got rid of the pictures on the trailer. I cleaned it up. That's my old trailer. Well, I have both of them, but that's an older picture. But on the new trailer, I just got rid of all those pictures, trying to do more like commercialized.
Yep.
That's
One thing just to add again, and I really want you guys to log this into the back of your brain for later this season. Uh, Next time you get the opportunity to park your rig, the nicest, cleanest look, in front of the biggest commercial building you do, or the nicest lawn that you do, like with your photographer, it will go a long way. Like Robert, that photo looks beautiful, but next time you can, like, park it in front of a commercial building, and on and off the record, I don't care if you do that lawn or not. Just park it in front of the biggest building and just say, we do commercial work. You know what I mean? And it looks like you have bench strength to do those commercial sites. So all of the photos that we're doing now for snow are in front of all of our commercial buildings. It's not like off of a random road or the driveway, or oh, hey, the sun's hitting it just right and we're going to go take a photo of our rig. Now and by the way, I did this all the time. One, because I was on the crew and on the rig, but two, we're always doing residential. Now, once you start squeaking into commercial, like if you want to do more commercial work, right? Get in front of whatever type of work you want to promote more of, but crack that egg wide open with a sledgehammer. You know what I mean? As soon as you can, taking photos in front of your best property or your best job or your best whatever you're trying to get more of. Like that photo is great, but let's say you're trying to get more commercial. Take that same photo, maybe a little less stagey because it would look a little cheesy. And take it in front of your biggest site or whatever you got that you're looking to get more of, Robert. But again, that's a great starter, photo for sure. I mean, it looks really clean,
I appreciate that. It probably with snow work too, right? Just take a couple chalks, put it in front of what we do. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Got you on that.
100%.
Appreciate it.
yeah, especially if you're
Yeah,
doing a
well,
website for snow plowing services, just again, put yourself in your customer's shoes. Like, tell me you can handle my snow plowing needs without
We
me having to browse your website.
we literally just did a
That's usually
video.
it's
We
yeah.
literally just did a video last night of every single truck piece of equipment that we have, and every picture has a major commercial site name somewhere, some way in the background. It took a 7-hour event and turned it into 13 hours just because of doing video and photography just for snow removal. For going into next year, we're working on snow stuff for next year, but literally I probably have 40 different sites that, even if it's a site of not mine, but across the street, you can see the Verizon corporate headquarters for the state of Maryland, or you know what I mean? Just
Yep.
every single picture. Then we're gonna do a Rolodex of flipping pictures. Hey, how we're looking at websites tonight, guys. I started doing this like 6 months ago. You guys should all be looking at websites like any chance you get. Just looking at that way when you talk with Adam or whatever you do for your website, you're not. I got like 64 notes. I was just looking at my phone, just links of different websites. Hey, I like this. I like that. That way, when I talk to my website guy or my SEO guy, hey, I noticed that this blog has all this, and I clicked on it, and it took me here, and then I seen it took me back to my website here. How do I do that? The more you look at other websites, the more you'll start asking how this happens. And when you ask your website, builder or your SEO guy, it'll start, helping you grow your lead generation from your website, or people finding you better, getting more leads.
Shane,
Yeah, that's a good point,
notes
Shane.
for the roof, and I can't even keep up. That's why.
So I know it's 10:30. So what I'll say too is we have the Brandable podcast. We did a episode on that, Shane, just to probably at this point maybe a month or two ago, talking about tracking your competitors' websites so that you're staying on top of the competition. Because people always say, just focus on yourself and stay in your own lane. Like, yeah, that's cool, but like if you're not paying attention to your competition, then you're just being naive and not focusing on what they're doing. Because if they look better than you, for example, then you need to adapt so that you're staying ahead of the competition. So it's smart to look at the competition in your area, check out their websites, see what they're doing, and do it better. That said, a couple of quick questions, and I'll shut up for sure. Is Daryl asked about getting a .org, .net, or .info. I wouldn't worry about those things. I think, Brian, you said unless you're doing a million plus, like, sure, go for it, but you don't need those. .com is the most important. It is the most trusted. It's the most professional. And if you cannot get that, Alex, I know you messaged me about getting a .co. Don't do that, because everybody's going to naturally put in .com, And if you have a .co, it's just going to be a lot of confusion when they put in .com, hit enter, and find somebody else's website from maybe another state or whatever it is, and say, wait a minute, what's the company that I was looking for that I just saw their truck, and what I don't understand. So if you can't get the perfect .com, get creative. It is what it is. Sometimes you have to get very creative and do your best to just get a .com that is your business name .com or something very similar, because .co will lead to confusion really quick. So those are a couple quick questions. And if anybody has other questions, please drop in the chat, or again, rateable.com. Let us know for sure. So I'll pause there, Brian,
Well,
and I know it's 10:30.
no, you're good, brother. It's funny when I say no, you're good, brother. Actually, it's funny because you're my brother. But appreciate you hopping on tonight. I just threw some photos, by the way, in the chat. If you guys want to see some of the professional photography we just took, I'm pretty pumped about that. And we got plenty more coming. And the idea is to procure like different pages on the website, like, hey, from snow to salt to site maintenance and management, i.e., the sidewalks. And then we have like another page coming, like why choose us, and it's going to be our process. I think Shane or somebody had that. You can see a photo overlooking the shoulder as one of our guys are using the crew app, right? So it looks like we're logging work. Like these are very intentional photos and shots that we're doing, and trying to let the photos and the video do the explaining and reinforce the text. So like Shane I think was just saying. One thing that I do a lot, whether you do like on Instagram or Pinterest, screenshots or saved or a save folder, or just dump stuff, in a folder of screenshots like on your computer. And that way, when you go to build something like a website, or you try to go build a sizzle reel, you can show folks like, hey, I just want to emulate that dude. Like Caleb Hallman's got a great line that he stole from somebody else because he's really good at this, but he says, good artists copy, great artists steal. So I'm stealing his line that he stole from somebody else, but it's the truth. A little inspiration inception there, but it's the truth. Like, just copy what you think that you would buy, like emulate what you would buy or what you would select or why you go with websites. And frankly, like, go with the best practices Adams has, but of course, individualize and personalize it to what you like. If you're really passionate about a certain thing on a website, like, go for it, add it. They don't all have to look the exact same. Just like Adam said, make sure you're hitting the checklist of the best practices. And I think we did a really good job reviewing a lot of that tonight. Last thing I'll say, if you guys have questions, I know we didn't get probably to everybody, but if you guys do want to continue the conversation, Adam's in link, tag him or Adam anytime. You can DM them on Instagram. I know they're active there. The podcast, we started a podcast about 3 months ago. It's like a 10-minute morning show, every Tuesday. A lot of great tips there. If you're really going to go down this whole rabbit hole, check those out. And then brandonbull.com, and shoot Adam and Lauren an email, and they can help you out. And just, again, soundboard. Nobody's here to pitch you on anything or sell you on anything. I know Adam and Lauren just love helping you guys, and they're pretty humble. I'll tell you what, but they've helped about 150 of you guys almost launch a green industry website in the last 24 months or so. And so they're in the thick of it. I don't know anybody who's doing what they do in terms of quality, speed, and at that price point. So if you guys do need something, give them a shout. But that's all I got, Adam, as always. And by the way, if you guys are new to this, link group, I just want to say, maybe this is your first live. Welcome. I know there's a lot of new faces in the group day after day, which is super cool. Thanks for pouring into what we're doing. This is just a little bit of a value add tonight. So last week we had Cycle CPA on. This week we have Adam and Lauren on, which was awesome. So just trying to help you guys grow and make these resources available to you guys to help you crush it this spring coming up. Adam, sincerely, thanks for hopping on. I know you got little ones. I know it's late night. Thanks for even taking a couple extra minutes as well. Appreciate you big time. And thanks for taking care of all these guys and helping them win with their business, man. It's awesome. So that's all I got. So thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me on. And yeah, tag me in the link group if you guys have questions about websites, branding, logos, marketing, advertising, Google reviews, things like that. I'm happy to help with as much information as I possibly can. Okay.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll shut it down. We'll catch up with all you guys here next week. I think we might do Thursday evening. We're possibly bumping the Wednesday live with Corey Lamphere to Thursday. We'll confirm in the group just to let you guys know. I'm actually out of town. I'll be at Epcot Wednesday night, so that might not work. So we might be bumping that to Thursday with Corey Lamphere, who owns Lamphere Lawn Care, which is awesome. Dude's got like a $7-8 million business down in Medina, Ohio. So we will let you guys know if that is Wednesday night or Thursday. We'll figure it out and make it work. But super pumped to see you guys again there. And of course, inside the group as always. All right, over now, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Have a good week. Be safe, especially if you guys are plowing snow. We'll catch up with you guys on the next one. Peace out. Have a good night. Bye.